A 100% natural wool rug is a truly premium, labor-intensive product. Depending on size, you're looking at an upfront commitment starting around $400 and climbing well past $2,000 for a large room. The immediate question you have to answer is whether the physical demands of your specific room justify spending 4 times as much on natural wool over a cheap synthetic alternative. This matrix breaks down the trade-offs across upfront cost, lifespan, and maintenance. While synthetics degrade and fray, forcing replacements every few years, a well-cared-for wool rug maintains its structural integrity for decades. But that longevity requires specific upkeep, introducing maintenance friction that synthetic rugs lack. The ultimate decision isn't about whether wool is universally a good product. It comes down to whether your specific room's environment justifies the upfront cost and required care. To understand that maintenance, we have to look at the physical structure of the material. Fresh off the loom, a dense, natural fiber rug is packed with loose wool left over from the weaving process. Because of this density, the immediate consequence is shedding. For the first few months, the rug will actively push those loose fibers to the surface. Managing this requires a strict vacuuming routine, but you must turn off your vacuum's beater bar. Using a standard, aggressive brush roller will physically tear the fibers apart and damage the rug. It is a deliberate trade. You endure 3 months of initial shedding and careful vacuuming in exchange for a luxuriously soft rug that can last 30 years. Let's apply those physical realities to specific zones in your house, starting with the spaces that take the most daily abuse. This chart measures household rooms on 2 axes, daily foot traffic on the vertical and risk of spills on the horizontal. Your hallways sit in the upper left quadrant. They see heavy foot traffic but low risk of spills. Wool thrives here due to a mechanical property called crimp. The natural elasticity of the fiber allows it to compress under heavy boots or furniture and immediately bounce back to its original shape. The functional trade-off is that the dense pile actively traps dust and dirt before it spreads through the rest of the house, forcing you to vacuum the runner frequently. The dining room sits in the upper right quadrant, carrying a high risk for liquid spills. Wool contains natural oils that act as a protective coating. This repels spills, giving you time to wipe up red wine before it stains. In these high-traffic and high-spill zones, wool acts as a resilient shield for your home's flooring, fully justifying the premium price tag. Shift to the lower left quadrant, comfort and focus. A home office rug absorbs sound, but requires soft chair casters to prevent edge damage. In the bedroom, wool acts as an air filter, passively trapping dust and allergens out of your breathing zone. Those allergens don't disappear. You have to put in the effort to manually extract them with a strict vacuuming schedule. In quiet zones, a wool rug functions as a passive environmental control system, regulating both room acoustics and air quality. If you do place a wool rug in the dining room, you have to follow a strict sizing rule that will directly dictate your budget. This blueprint illustrates the required geometry. Your rug must extend at least 60 centimeters beyond the table on all sides. This requirement pushes buyers into the extra-large bracket, pushing minimum dimensions to 300 by 200 centimeters. The functional mechanics of how you use the room determine your rug size, multiplying your cost before you even look at a pattern. Let's look at the financial math. Paying $1,200 for a wool rug feels steep, when a synthetic alternative costs $300. This line chart tracks the cumulative cost of both materials over a 15-year timeline. The synthetic line jumps sharply every 3 to 4 years as the cheap fibers flatten and force you to replace the rug. The wool line starts high but remains perfectly flat. By year 10, the continuous replacement cycle of the cheap synthetic eclipses the one-time premium of the natural wool. You pay the premium to avoid the hidden subscription cost of replacing degraded, disposable decor. To make your choice, follow this flowchart. The first prompt is simple. Are you looking for a long-term investment? If you just want a quick, seasonal aesthetic update and plan to throw it out in a few years, skip wool entirely and buy synthetic. If yes, you face a second question. Are you willing to tolerate a few months of initial shedding and commit to cleaning without harsh chemicals? If you have a low tolerance for maintenance, pivot your search toward high-end pet or machine-washable rugs instead. But if you can tolerate the specific upkeep, 100% natural wool is the definitive, data-backed choice. Never buy a wool rug just because it looks good in photos. Buy it because its physical properties solve the functional problems of your room.